Well, this doesn't happen very often. Me being first on the water. Okay, if you follow the channel, you're probably aware that Steve, Sam and myself are up at Trout, and we booked this trip for a whole week. So it's the first week of April, and we have now fished for several days. And the fishing has been slow, due to the last stock going in, which was around 2 weeks ago. This can be quite normal for this time of the year. Around 1 week after stocking, fish slow their metabolism. They do this to adapt to the levels of food available. And when they are in this state, they are very difficult to catch. But it's not all the fish in this lake that are in that sleepy state. There are a few, and they're willing to take. And these are the fish that myself and the boys are going to be fishing for. But what we're really hoping for is for the conditions to pick up and to see the first of many hatches. This will wake all the fish up and see them on the feed. Okay, there is a method to my madness. Being the first on the water is more down to the forecast, and what we're expecting is higher winds during the day. So what I'm fishing with at the moment is this black and blue dowel. We've had quite a bit of success with this over the last few days and on previous trips. And the retrieve, I'm switching it from a slow figure of 8 to a faster figure of 8 and sometimes a steady draw. Okay, so I've got the first fish to the net, and it ain't long before the boys turn up, and shortly after that I'm into the second fish. Oh! That hit it hard. And that was a steady figure of 8. Oh, and a jump. Huh? Jesus, this is unreal. Come on, fish. That was one toughy fish. Toughest.
Yeah. Come on, keep chasing it. Yeah. Keep chasing it. Yeah, come on, get on.
Chasing your dowel, is it? Yeah. Okay, so that's Steve into his first fish. But what he was doing, he was moving the pattern a lot faster, almost skating it across the top. Once he'd done that, I thought I'd do the same. Before you know it, I'm into my next fish again. So the retrieve is so important, and there's no such thing as one retrieve for all fish. Varying that retrieve as much as you can, regardless of whatever pattern you've got on. Cracking fish, like. Okay, so the fishing's been pretty good at the moment. It's not loads coming out, but it's pretty damn good. But another thing that we're often doing, we're always on the move, looking for that next fish. Okay, I'm starting to find it difficult to concentrate on the fishing. My stomach needs a bit of a refill, and I'm starving, so I'm going to head up and get myself some breakfast and leave the boys to it. Okay, so we've got another day at Trout, and as you can see, the conditions today, it's nice and clear, but there's this sort of easterly wind and it's pretty damn cold, and I can feel it on my hands already. We started the week off and we were on the dowels, the nymphs, things like that. The fish were higher and they were prepared to chase, and it was good sport. But the conditions over the last few days have been a bit windier and certainly colder as well. We did have a lovely day yesterday. The temperatures picked up. The wind was still very difficult. But what we also had was Ryan, the Welsh fly fisherman, turned up on the water with us. Now that was interesting. Really nice guy. We fished together a bit and we had a bit of a laugh. But he is, if you like, hardcore dry fly. And interestingly is his fly box. He's got the one fly box only. He opens it up and there's not much in there. He has about 8 or 9 different patterns, and that is it. And that's where his confidence is in them patterns, and that's what he fishes. And he certainly produced a few fish there yesterday as well. He did give me one of his dry flies. I did catch, I think it was about 2nd or 3rd cast, and I caught a fish with it. So that was very encouraging for him and certainly for me. As you can see, it's clear, but this cold wind, and we think this could be driving the fish down a bit. Now everybody on the lake, not just us, everybody on the lake is finding it a bit more difficult. But it's more of moving around the water and trying to find where these fish are. Check your levels, try different retrieves, and if all this fails, obviously we'll do as Ryan does and move on to the dry fly. Now the dry fly isn't where they're hitting it constantly. It's a matter again looking for the fish, presenting the fly, whether you're going to present it, leave it static on the top, fishing it for long periods in one area, or whether you're, as I say, present the fly with an element of surprise for the fish, where you cast it in, it sits on the water for a few seconds, give it a tweak, pull it out, put it back into a different area. This method will help you cover a lot of water quicker. So we'll get back out on the water, see if we can find the fish.
Okay, things have certainly gone a lot quieter, and we're even struggling to get a knock. So I'm not sure if it's got something to do with that cold wind. So I am starting to think of making a change, and possibly the squirrel.
Oh, same pattern. Squirrel, yeah. No, just leaving it drop slowly and just keeping contact.
Okay, switching to the squirrel isn't a massive change in the way of method or even pattern, but what the squirrel has got is it's going to boost my confidence. I've been fishing with the dowel all morning, and when it gets a bit quiet, you need to change. You've got to keep your confidence high. So choosing a pattern that will give you that confidence is going to help. Okay, I've still got the squirrel on, but what you'll notice is I'm not casting very far. All I'm doing is just flicking it out, using the tip of the rod and dragging it in. I'm covering all the water that's in front of me before I start fishing further out. So if you start casting straight out, you're going to reduce your chances, as you're going to spook most of the fish that's right in front of you. But this is also a very effective way to fish. For some reason, the fish seem to be attracted to that continuous drag. All you got to do is work out what speed that they prefer. But if you start doing this, it'll become more of a habit, and you will certainly see an increase in the fish that you catch. Okay, a little bit about the squirrel and why we enjoy using this pattern. First of all, it's the simplest pattern to tie. All it is a squirrel dubbing, about 4 or 5 turns, and with a silver wire, and on the front a few turns of white ostrich. And that's all it is. I was asked before as to why I put the silver wire in. Well, this pattern actually does catch a lot of fish, and if it didn't have that silver wire in there, it ain't gonna last you 5 minutes. So it's important that you put the wire in. So this pattern has been tied specifically to fish either on the top or subsurface. And when we're fishing it on the top, all we do is apply a small bit of floatant. Then to go subsurface, just give it a few good pulls. But this pattern really stands out in the water, and we normally tie them in a size 14 to a 16. But we have recently started tying them smaller again, and this pattern fishes really well static or really fast. Okay, so I've slowly worked my way across the water, adding more distance with each cast.
Yeah. Oh, same pattern. Bloody hell. Oh no, he's going into the tree. Get off the tree. He's in the tree. I got him out. God, you've got a good strong full tail on him. And he's going straight to the tree. Huh? Yeah. I tell you, he knows what he's doing.
Okay, as we've been talking more about dry flies, what I thought I'd do is put this up, and it's a little trick that we use to dry the flies. I'm surprised when I've asked around how many people weren't aware of this simple little thing. It's been around for donkey's years. All it is an elastic band. Get your elastic band, you can fix it on anywhere you like. I've just put it on my zipper. Just loop it through and secure it. Put your hook onto the elastic band, stretch the elastic band, keep in tension, and keep tension on your tippet, and then simply flick the band. And you'll be surprised how much moisture comes off that fly. So here's a slow motion shot of the first flick, and you'll see how much water is displaced. Okay, out of the nice calm area, back into the windy cold area. But there is a reason as to why I'm here. On the previous video, I did mention a small shoal of fish that would be moving through this area every so often. And we did experience this again this morning. Now the timing, I'd guess, is around about an hour or so. And I would say they're moving upwind. And why I'm saying this is because I'm aware that fish generally swim higher in the columns against the wind and deeper in the column with the wind. And there's a very good reason for them doing this, which we won't go into just yet, as it will take too long. But for most of the rainbow trout, they're constantly on the move. What depth they are and what speed they're moving and what area they're covering is going to vary. So the size of this shoal, I have no idea. It could be as little as 10 or even 20. But for the main, when the stock go in, they'll move around together, but each day they'll disperse. And sometimes you'll end up with a very small shoal. They'll continue moving around the lake together, and they'll often patrol the same areas. So this is just one little thing that you can observe and experience when you're on a water for longer periods of time. So at the moment I have no idea as to when them fish are going to come through, and that's even if they do come through. But over the week, given the chance, I've been observing everybody that has fished from this point. But today has been more difficult. Hardly anybody has fished this point, and that's down to the conditions. That wind doesn't look too bad. But believe me, it's quite strong, and it's cold, and for most anglers, they're fishing with the right-hand cast, and this is going to make this area very difficult. Well, it turns out that I was fishing for about 8 to 10 minutes when I got my first hit, and for the next 20 minutes or so, it was awesome. Okay, casting in this area can be difficult, but fishing it is great. And that's down to the wind speed and the angle that I'm putting the cast. So the movement on the surface is picking up my fly line and it's creating a certain amount of drag. So the amount of drag can dictate as to how deep your pattern is and how fast it's moving. But finding the right depth and speed is down to experience or trial and error. So at the moment I'm able to put the cast straight across the wind and making a slight mend every now and again. And it's all down to feel. It's the weight that I'm feeling on the line. But if the wind was to increase, my pattern would be fishing higher and faster. So to maintain the same depth and speed, what the fish were picking up on, I'd have to then cast more downwind. And this then reduces the amount of drag on the line. But when fishing this method, there is hardly a retrieve. All you got to do is just keep the tension on the line, and that might incorporate a slow draw.
That's going to be awkward. Get on this weed. That's smashed, that fly. Once the fish is smothered in the weed, they generally go dead still. That weed, they're like blindfolded. That's they're done for. Just notice I'm putting it all on my line. Okay, it's all hooked. Let's get the fish go. Oh. Another tidy full fish.
Okay, a few points about what we have covered. One is to concentrate more on the retrieve, getting as much variation as you can in that retrieve within the cast. If there was ever one thing that I'd be asked, what would improve your fishing? And it would be the retrieve. And this would be before considering any pattern. And never be too worried about retrieving too fast. If at one point you're hooking into the fish and then it goes quiet, it's not that they've gone off the feed. The chances are they've moved off. But give it a bit of time and you may well see them coming back. But most important is to get out there and enjoy the day. Keep it simple and always fish with confidence.
Oh.
Okay, so you're not going to get them all, but you'll always have another chance. But for us boys, our week is now over, and we've thoroughly enjoyed it. And we've also met a lot of people up here, and it was great meeting you all, sharing your stories and my flies. But most of all, I'd like to thank you for watching this video to the end. It's important for a channel to get the views, but more importantly is the view duration, watching it all the way through. Comments, likes, any interaction is all good for the channel. So why not consider subscribing, making sure you don't miss out on these coming videos.
Oh, I felt a bit of tension. Here you go. Yes. That's a strong fish.
And apart from the fishing, we've been shopping around for tippet material. And this one you won't want to miss. So until the next video, take care.